Let's have a look at the front page of the AFR. This big story here, Gideon, that will definitely gain traction tomorrow by Phil Coorey. The headline is China sparks FIRB crackdown, and the federal government has placed severe, immediate and indefinite restrictions on all foreign investment bids, following at least 2 cases of Chinese-owned firms in Australia securing tons of precious medical supplies and shipping them to China. This, I think, is just common sense where we are. Effective from 10:30 p.m. last night, which is tonight, Treasurer Josh Frydenberg lowered to zero the dollar value of every foreign investment bid that would trigger scrutiny by FIRB and then ultimately by him. This is obviously a temporary measure, but it's a needed measure, Gideon.
I think it is a needed measure in some respects, and obviously what the Treasurer is trying to mitigate against is is a wave of fire sales being hoovered up by China, which
or any other nation, obviously.
Well, I'll get to that in a minute. But it's to prevent a wave of fire sales, particularly by commercial landlords, I might add, who have been absolutely hung out to dry by state and federal governments and not given any relief, at least not yet. But I query whether it's necessary to ban 193 countries from a problem which is arising chiefly out of one, that is the People's Republic of China. Let's not forget here that Australia is dependent on foreign capital. We've been dependent on foreign capital since 1788. I'm always wary about cracking down or tightening the noose around letting that foreign capital come into the country, particularly at times when businesses need an injection of cash to keep going. That said, trading with China is not the same as trading with a liberal democracy. It is not the same as trading with the Netherlands, for instance. So I think that permanently we need to reassess our view of acquisitions by China, and I say this as somebody who is an ardent and lifelong free market, free trade enthusiast. But unfortunately, China has proven people like me wrong, who say, oh, you know, it doesn't matter if the Chinese want to come here and spend money, so be it. We are seeing the consequences of that open door to China coming to roost all the time, and we need to reassess it.
Yeah. I take your point, Warren. I think completely contrarian view, but the counter to that, I would say, is it is in nobody's interest for distressed Australian businesses to be bought up in that place of distress by any foreign entity. I mean, the idea is to get everybody on the other side of this recover, so that they aren't just picked off by anyone.
Well, look, I'm a free trader in that as well, and I'm very strong supporter of, you know, some of these free trade agreements that we've had. But at the same time, we're going to have to reassess a whole lot of things that are going to come out of this COVID-19, and especially with our relationship with China. There is a lot of things that have come out which makes us dependent upon other nations. Now, we do, you know, as Gideon said, 1788, our nation has been built on foreign investments, but we just don't just sell everything out and let everything be taken away from us. Look, I'm very confident that countries like, you know, Gideon did mention the Netherlands and other places like that, liberal democracies, you know, capitalist states, will be able to still operate and invest in Australia and that. But we do need to have a very strong look about what you know, the Chinese Communist Party, and because we're not having a shot at Chinese. We've got some great Chinese people working in this country. We're having a shot about the government that's over there. It's a communistic government, and we've got to be very careful about what's being sold off to them.